Hare Krishna. So today I've got the introduction seva for His Prabhuji. So we have a very special guest coming at ISKCON Louisville. Uh, so before I start about the introduction, I would just like to give a very brief information about why introduction is needed. So we might have already heard that Prabhuji is coming to Louisville. We might have already read in the flyers, right, about his biography, about his introduction. But introduction is not just for the formal sake. It has a deep connection, right? So the introduction is meant for purification. It is for purification of myself. It is for the purification of the audience. Because we are all conditioned souls entrapped in the material energy, right? So when we try to hear from the great Vaishnavas about their biography, about their qualifications, we try to move 1 inch closer towards Lord Krishna. So that is the main purpose of introduction. Now, let's start with the introduction. So Prabhuji comes from a very wonderful community, one community which is very closer to the heart of Louisville residents, right? Why? Because New Vrindavan community can be termed as like second home for Louisville residents. Every year, at least once, we try to spend time in New Vrindavan. We gather so many things there, like doing Mangal Aarti, doing Japa, getting association of devotees and making our bond stronger. We try to play Kirtan, we try to participate in the various artis like Shringar Aarti, Rajbhog Aarti, and so on and so forth. We also try to do Parikrama because we have been staying so far from the original Vrindavan. But it's the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that he has initiated a place as New Vrindavan where we can just go and get the same benefits. Right? So today we have a very special guest. His name is His Grace Kripamaya Prabhu. So he joined ISKCON at the age of 17 and he got his initiation from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada in 1973. Srila Prabhupada ki. And since 1976, he has been serving the New Vrindavan community. So Prabhuji is married to a very beautiful soul, Her Grace Krishna Bhava Devi Dasi. And if I'm not wrong, so they have been happily married for 50 years. So he has raised their children in a like in the Krishna consciousness environment, and that's a learning for all of us. And he has earned his Bachelor of Science degree uh, from West Liberty University. Yes, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, he has earned his bachelor's of degree, and his original Ramayana music was also theatered in West Kelly district in the Kelly's theater, right? And since then, Prabhuji has been offering numerous services in the form of music, in the form of lectures, in the form of preaching to the entire various community. Right. So I just want to request you all to make the best of this association and try to hear from him about the very interesting topic today, which is Grha-medhi, which is Grhastha. So we will try to get some more information from Prabhuji. And I think when we have, like whenever we go to New Vrindavan, so there is usually a second Mangal Aarti, right? So anybody has got a chance to attend the second Mangal Aarti at Palace of Gold? So there we might have seen Prabhuji. He is doing worship of Srila Prabhupada, then he is engaging into kirtans, and then at the end of the Aarti, he spends quality time with all those devotees who have been personally present. And I think once or twice we might have requested Prabhuji, like in Louisville, we also need your association. I think it is all through those efforts and definitely a great efforts by Kulapati Madhav Prabhu and his entire family that that Prabhuji has finally made to actually help us and give his association. So without wasting time, I will just like to let us all together raising our hands and warmly welcome by chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare.
Yes. I know many of us have seen him over there. And the other devotee, he's actually a better devotee than I am. His name is Manavata. Yes. And he's a Prabhupada disciple, and he has been serving. He's a great book distributor for many, many years. That I wasn't aware of. Yeah, he was in Tokyo with Kripamaya. His brother, Grhastha, is also one of the pioneers of our Krishna consciousness movement in Mumbai. So he's an exceptional devotee, leads wonderful kirtan. So I'm just a fig compared to him in the school of bhakti, but thank you for the comparison. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be with all of you, and I can see by your, sometimes small is beautiful, and and throughout the world, many great cathedrals have been built, many great mosques, many great big temples, but without the hearts of the people who are worshiping there, they're just hollow places. And we can see many of these great places now are not. No one goes there; they just become museums. But here I see the spirit of bhakti is vibrant, and I'm very grateful for that. And the reason why we're here, of course, we all know we're here to hear. So I'm also here to hear from you and to learn from you, and I'm just thankful that I have an opportunity. The reason why, I just wanted to express to you, the reason why one of the reasons I became interested in the Ramayana is because I saw it as an opportunity to bring Krishna consciousness to the West, as Srila Prabhupada envisioned, to help further Srila Prabhupada's vision. He already had the vision, and as a disciple of his, I wanted to assist him and his disciples in doing that. And it's become interesting how among all the pastimes of Krishna, the Ramayana has become something that they even celebrate in the White House every year. It's been going on for, I think, the past 2 or 3 decades. And in fact, if you can go online, if you Google Hanuman, President Obama, you can see in an interview that they ask him, what do you do when people give you things? And he pulls out of his pocket Hanuman, a little statue of Hanuman. So when the President of the United States is carrying Hanuman in his pocket, there's hope for spreading Dharma. So it's like the West has become known, at least to those who are following a spiritual path, as the place of adharma. And many of the Indian diaspora devotees have left. India was traditionally the Punya Bhumi, the land of Dharma. And they left India and they've come to the West where there's so much adharmic activity going on. I don't have to go into details. You already know. You just have to open your iPhone and you'll see what's going on. So much of this dharma is going on. But my wife and I, actually, Srila Prabhupada, in 1970s, 71, 72, he wrote a letter to one of his dear disciples, Shama Sundar, appreciating that Shama Sundar had sent him a recording. And this recording was from the Beatles. And the Beatles had recorded with George Harrison, this Govindam prayers, which every day now throughout Hare Krishna temples throughout the world is played. But then right after that, Srila Prabhupada said that we should also make a recording of Jai Jagadish Hare and have a children's book of the Das Avatar. And he said this book could tell this 10 stories of the Das Avatar, and it could also have 10 pictures. So my wife, I told my wife, I showed her this letter, so she decided during COVID to write the 10 stories of the Das Avatar, and to also because she's an artist, she's able to have pictures, as Srila Prabhupada wanted, of each of the avatars. So these are available, and I just wanted to show you that one of the reasons why my wife did it is she initially wanted to, I'd written a song, and if any of you, since I heard all your beautiful voices, I'm hoping maybe someday I can teach you the English lyrics to these songs. And it's, do any of you take any music lessons or? Yeah? Really? So you could play this. This is in Western notation. And you could sing it's in English, like the first song goes, "Oh Lord, you assumed a fish-like form at the time of devastation to rescue the Vedas from a storm and for their preservation. You carried the Vedas in a boat through the hurricane that swept across the cosmic sea as you were pounded by the rain. In this first incarnation, Matsya was your name. Keshavadrita Saradivisardira Jaya Jagadishare. Keshavadrita Amina Sarira Jaya Jagadishare. Oh, so you know the song. Yes. Yes, well, that's one. I didn't realize everyone knew it so well. And it goes through all. Keshavadrita Amina Sarira, Keshavadrita Korma Sarira, Keshavadrita Sukha Sarira, all the way up to Kesha Sarira Rama Sarira. So that's why I was, and so the dream of my wife, we actually, we put our English names in here. You see, I don't know, my wife, I think, just wanted to make me happy, because my picture doesn't have to be in the book, but she, but she's very intelligent. So she knows I have a big false ego. So, but I did write the song, and that was one of the inspirations. Originally, she was going to illustrate the song, but then she realized the songs don't tell the story; they just tell you a little bit of the story. So her name is her English name is Christine Sherwood. My English name is John Sherwood. And the reason why we did that is because we would like to start presenting this into the libraries, into the schools. So if we can get any librarians, or if you know any English school teachers who might be interested for Diwali or for some special event, maybe if they see this book, they might want to, have us come and spread the Dharma. So I just thought I'd like to share with you a song or two. And from the song, we can maybe ask for your reflections. Like I said, I'm here to hear from you as well. Some of the lessons that we can learn to help us in our Grhastha ashram, in our daily life. So this is called, I've been working on this for a while. This is the first time I've presented the whole song. I think Manita, Bhavit, a lot of people have heard the first part of the song, and I don't know if you've heard the second part or third part. Yeah, I don't think so. So it's called the Ramayana Trilogy, and I'll begin just by saying a short prayer to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskachatesha Tarane. Let's try this again. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhaskachatesha Tarane. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, in this song, actually, can we hold off on the Pradanga until later? We'll come to the Sri Ram part, and then we'll hear that. But I'm going to ask you to participate. When I open my eyes, I'd like you all to go, Jai Sri Ram. Can you do that? Okay, let's do a little test here. I'm going to close my eyes. Perfect. When Hanuman gave Ram's ring to Sita, he began to sing, Jai Shri Ram. Then Hanuman was captured by the demons, but still he cried, Jai Shri Ram. When the Rakshasa vampires set Hanuman's tail on fire, they laughed as they dragged him through the streets of Lanka. So Sita prayed to Agni Dev, please don't let Hanuman feel pain. Then with the force of a hurricane, though bound up with heavy chains, Hanuman broke free and with his tail set Lanka aflame as he boldly proclaimed, Jai Shri Ram. Then Hanuman returned to Ram and cried, your wife Sita is still alive.
Shri Ram.
In Lanka she's a prisoner, can I help you rescue her? Yes, Hanuman, cried Ram. So please, pick up big boulders and put them on your shoulders and carry the rocks to a sacred spot by the shimmering sea. Then my dear Hanumanji, with your monkey army, throw the rocks in the sea to build a bridge to Lanka so I can rescue Sita. So Hanuman picked up the biggest boulder and boldly proclaimed while chanting Ram's name, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram,
Jai Shri Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Shri Ram Jai
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Ram 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 Ram. Jai
Jai
Shri
Shri
Ram. Sitaram Hanuman Lakshman ki.
Jai.
Sitaram Hanuman Lakshman ki.
Jai.
And then a little chipmunk scurried across the sand and overheard Ram give Hanuman this command. Please build a bridge of love to Lanka so I can rescue my wife Sita. The chipmunk also wanted to please Prince Ram, but he couldn't pick up big boulders like Hanuman. He thought, though I am so small, let me do the best I can, even if it's just throwing in the water pebbles of sand. As the chipmunk flicked sand into the ocean, from his heart he sang with great devotion. I'm helping build a bridge of love to Lanka so Ram can rescue his wife Sita. When Hanuman saw the chipmunk flicking sand in the sea, he laughed, "Little chippy, go back to your tree. To build a bridge to Lanka, you must be ingenious, courageous, and strong like me." When he heard Hanuman say this, Ram said with dismay, "My dear Hanuman, please don't talk this way. My devotee is gracious and always gives respect to all creatures and space to live. Big or small, short or tall, whether they can run or whether they can crawl. Doesn't matter if they're strong, doesn't matter if they're weak. I accept anyone who sincerely seeks to serve me according to their capacity, like this chipmunk who's trying his best to please me. Because I'm controlled by love and feelings of gratitude and a service spirit and humble attitude. When Hanuman heard Ram say this, he repented and cried, "Please forgive me, my Lord, I fell victim to pride." And from that day on, Hanuman was empowered by Lord Ram to build a bridge of love to rescue Sita. So just as Hanuman built a bridge of love externally to build a bridge to Lanka, to rescue Sita, the daughter, the goddess of the earth, let us build a bridge of love in our hearts, to the core of our hearts, and rescue that spirit of devotion that is lying there locked up Let's free that spirit of devotion. And once we free that spirit of devotion within our hearts, let us build a bridge to everyone we meet by chanting the Lord's sweet holy names. Sitaram Jaya, Sitaram, Sitaram Jaya, Sitaram, Sitaram Jaya, Sitaram, Sitaram Jaya, Sitaram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram. Are you ready for part 3? Yes. Okay. After the bridge was built, Lord Rama fought a great battle with Ravana, the demon king of the Rakshasas, living on the island of Lanka. During the battle, Ram's brother Lakshman was wounded by the son of Ravana. And as Lakshmana lay in pain, the monkey named Hanuman sang Ram's name. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya 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 Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Then the king of the bears told Hanuman, there's a healing herb that can save Lakshman in the Himalayas called Sanjeevani, growing beneath the banyan trees. So Hanuman jumped from Sri Lanka to the mountains of the Himalayas. And when he landed on the ground, Hanuman sang as he looked around. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya. But he could not find the healing herbs, so Hanuman was so disturbed. He picked up the mountain with his hand as if it were a grain of sand and carried it back to the battlefield. When he smelled the herbs, Lakshman was healed. Everyone, let's take a deep breath. Take another deep breath, pretending we're breathing in the herbs. Then Lakshman jumped to his feet as Hanuman sang these names of Lord Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram. Sita Ram Lakshman ki Jai. Jai. Thank you so much. Yeah, we'll have to come and have a week summer camp. Yeah. Well, we don't have to learn that. That might take time. We can do little smaller songs, you know.
They have a special request. They will do that at Randomly.
Really?
I know. They were saying that we'll ask you to teach us.
Oh, okay. I'd be happy to. The music is there, and you know, Yeah, that's one thing, like, to empower this next generation, and then they will take it further. They will empower their children, and their children will empower their children. This way it will continue. Of course, we know that we're all insignificant. I mean, it's a sobering thought to think. Does anyone here know the name of their great-grandfather? The name of their great-grandfather? You know, okay. Anyone else? No, okay, so how about your great-great-grandfather? So in 3 or 4 generations, we'll all be forgotten, right? Maybe at least 1 or 2 generations people remember us. But we're so insignificant. We're like little blades of grass. But if we can somehow spread the love of Krishna consciousness, that effort is eternal. And we will be benefited, not only ourselves personally, but benefit those around us. So, anyone have any thoughts on what are some what did we just hear about in this song? What pastimes of Lord Ram did we hear? Any? You have a microphone you can pass on that?
Ramayan.
Yes. And what segment? Ramayan's huge. Takes
We saw
volumes.
like the building bridge part and the burning of Lanka part and the battle part.
Yes. So, and the others memories.
We saw, like, in the battle when Lakshman was hurt and Hanuman went to get a mountain and brought it to heal Lakshman.
Yes. And that's a very beautiful point you brought up, Prabhu, is how, when you go to New Vrindavan, have everyone here been to New Vrindavan? Most everybody, okay. So, when you walk along the lakes there where the peacocks dance and show off their feathers, yeah. So if you come to the end there's a black big stone there. It's a black memorial stone. It's actually forced. It's like a square. There's a monument, and that monument is to Hari Griva, who was one of the pioneers of New Vrindavan, and he was actually a professor at Ohio State University, and he donated his paycheck to start New Vrindavan, and he was a great writer, and but in the stone it says, "He reasons ill that say that Vaishnavas die, for thou art living still and sound. Vaishnavas die and do living try to spread a holy life around." This is a poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's taken from one of his poems, that quote. So that's a very important point, that we can actually see Krishna through sound. As we progress in our Krishna consciousness, we begin to realize that Krishna and his name are non-different, that Krishna is fully present in his name. I'll tell you a little story. I was sharing with Lapita Prabhu, Madhav Prabhu, that how one of the reasons why I became a devotee is because of a Gujarati gentleman, was a DuPont engineer, and I wanted to learn how to do yoga. And so I asked my mother, she was his English teacher, to help him, brush up on his English. And so she said, "Yeah, ask this student of mine." And I called him, and he said, "Yes, I teach yoga, but it's $30 a month." I didn't have that much money. I was 16 years old. But anyway, to make a long story short, he told me a beautiful story. So anyway, I just say, so he'd given one of his apartment buildings, just like Baba Rai has given like the building. So he gave one of his apartment buildings to the Hare Krishna devotees. So because of him, and he was follower of another path, but he so much appreciated Srila Prabhupada. Anyway, so because of him, I was able to go to a temple. So he told me a story one time how one time he went to see Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada at that time was at 22nd 2nd Avenue. And he was going to write a book about his experiences with Srila Prabhupada, but then he passed away before he could finish it. So anyway, he went into he thought, well, I'm going to please Swamiji. You know, he's come all the way from India to spread the Dharma. So he said, I'm going to give one of his disciples. He knew that to please the Guru, you have to please one of his disciples. So he was very intelligent. So he got a little Krishna omelet, hang around your neck with a picture of Krishna. That I'll give this to his disciple, and Swamiji will be very happy. So there was a devotee going in to see Srila Prabhupada and give Bhagavad Gita class. So he gave him the omelet, and the devotee sat down in front of Srila Prabhupada. Let me back up, I'm sorry. He gave him an Om omelet. Okay, Om, sorry. I'm moving too fast here. He gave him an Om omelet. So the devotee sat down in front of Srila Prabhupada with his Om. And Srila Prabhupada was in the middle of giving Gita discourse, and he said, what is it that you're wearing? The devotee said, Om, Srila Prabhupada, this is an Om. Srila Prabhupada said, that's Mayavadi, take it off. This is the very beginning of the movement, right? We were all just hippies, and Srila Prabhupada was trying to get us to be, focused. So the devotee took it off. So then Mr. Gajar, Bharat Gajar was his name, he smiled. He didn't really, Swamiji's a Vaishnava. So the next time he came to New York, because he was living in Wilmington, Delaware, which is where he had the temple, he brought a Krishna omelet. Okay? So, omelet. So the devotee was sitting in front of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada was lecturing. So Bharat Gajar was thinking, he'll be very happy to see Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada stopped in the middle of his lecture and said, what is it that you're wearing? Oh, Srila Prabhupada, it's Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada said, where is Radharani? That's Mayavadi, take it off. So, I was just hearing this beautiful story which Srila Prabhupada told when he was in New Vrindavan in 1969. How one time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in South India, and he came across this Brahmin, and this Brahmin had been told by his guru to read Bhagavad Gita every day. And but this Brahmin was illiterate; he could not read. So he was just sitting there flipping through the pages, and the other Brahmins would laugh at him, make fun of him, criticize him. What are you doing? You're just wasting time. You're not. Why are you doing this? And because they were inimical, he just wouldn't answer. But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw him doing this. He saw that he was crying. He said, well, what are you doing? So the Brahmin realized that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't come to criticize him. He sincerely wanted to know. He said, my spiritual masters asked me to read Bhagavad Gita every day, but I can't read. So I'm just flipping through the pages. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, then why are you crying? He says, when I see how out of love Krishna took the position of Arjuna's servant, God, is so many times worshipped by others, but God so much loves his devotee that becomes the servant of his devotee. When I see that Krishna is taking the position of a chariot driver out of love for his devotee, this brings tears to my eyes. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned in this regard that all the other Brahmins who were criticizing this Brahmin, they had no realization that Krishna and his name are non-different. They were thinking, oh yes, when Krishna says surrender unto me, he means surrender to the unmanifested within me. They can't conceive that this entire creation, this entire cosmos comes from a person. It's beyond their comprehension. But it's both, as we know from Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna clearly explains, it's both, he has his impersonal aspect, but ultimately you can't love in person. How can you love an in person? Oh, would you like to marry this energy, this formless being? So Krishna is a person. So that's the great gift of Srila Prabhupada. So he convinced us by his strong preaching. So the reason why I bring this point up is because everyone knows that Grhastha life can sometimes be challenging. And not just Grhastha life, all relationships that we have with others in this world. So when our relationship with the Holy Name becomes purified, we actually are able to, it actually purifies our relationships with everyone around us. Because what is it when we're, Satchidananda Swami has written this book called The Living Name. Right? So Krishna is fully present in his name. It's alive. If we just, even though if we don't believe it, just try it out. Just make the experiment. Chant the holy name and just, say to yourself, well, let me just accept this and see what happens. And we chant with the thought that Krishna and his name are not different, that Krishna is personally present in his name, that Krishna's name is fully conscious. And that in his name, he's fully conscious of what we are conscious of, more so than we are. So as we approach, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So similarly, as we surrender under the holy name reveals itself accordingly. So like when we're chanting, for example, it's easy sometimes to think about what I want to do. How do I want to benefit myself today? Right? So this is the me-centered consciousness that comes from identifying with a material body. But if we approach the holy name, it's just, what do you want, Krishna? Let me just wait here, and I'll listen to your holy name. I'll be with you. I'll spend some time with you, to just be present with you. And when Krishna sees that, then he starts reciprocating. We start feeling that loving reciprocation. And as Srila Prabhupada promises, we keep chanting Hare Krishna. One day we'll see Krishna face to face. So it takes a little faith. But I can tell you from my own experience, just by having a little faith in Srila Prabhupada's words, I was able to, transfer myself from eating meat, taking intoxication, having illicit sex, all the adharmic things, gambling, mental speculation, all these things. And it was able to at least bring me to a point of civilized human life. What to speak of all of you? So many of you you're born into a culture that was already recognized the value of these principles of life. So you're more fortunate than I am. I feel that you can actually make much greater spiritual progress. There's a great blessing to be born in India, the land of Dharma. It can make it difficult. And Srila Prabhupada used the example of the piano teacher. Well, I've also heard the violin teacher, both versions. That if a student goes to a violin teacher, a parent asks, how much do you charge to teach violin? And the teacher will say, has he had violin before? He says, no. Okay, I only charge like five marks a month. Probably use the example of a German music teacher. If you bring a student there, and the parent says, can you give my son violin lessons? And the music teacher says, has he taken violin before? He says, yes, he has. He has a couple years. And the violin teacher will say, okay, I'll charge you 20 marks a month. Because he has to unlearn all the bad habits. It'll take so much more work. So in one sense, it can be more of a challenge. But I think all of you are very sincere. I'm very grateful for all of your presence and your taking to this Krishna consciousness, in this very beautiful setting, this intimate setting. So I don't want to like I said, I want to hear from all of you. If you have any reflections you'd like to share or any questions you have, I'll be happy to share because I know time is short. And I don't want to wear out the welcome mat. You know. And don't feel pressure to you don't have to ask a question. I'm not, it's not a requirement, but if you have.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for enlightening us with Ram Bhajan. So my question is, we don't have Sri Ram and Sita deities in all ISKCON temples. We have in some.
We have in some. We used to have in New Vrindavan, actually.
Okay.
We had Sita, Ram, Hanuman, and Lakshman.
Uh-huh.
But unfortunately, we went through some challenging times.
Oh.
And we didn't have the enough pujaris to take care of them. So Shamik Rishi, the temple president at the time of the Tuako temple, he said, well, let's bring them to Tuako.
Okay.
So they're now being worshipped in Tuako. And Washington, D.C. also has Sitaram deities, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
I think, yeah, Washington, D.C.
Washington,
has
yes,
some.
Potomac,
Yeah.
yes.
So my second question is, then we also don't read Ramayana, right, as part of our day-to-day in ISKCON, right?
Well, it's in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, a synopsis of the
small
Ramayana.
Yeah.
And we, Srila Prabhupada often quotes Valmiki. There's nothing wrong with being a Ram Bhakta. In fact, there was one devotee, I forget his name, he was was it Murari Gupta? Yeah.
Murali Gupta.
He was very attached to Lord Ram.
Yeah.
And but he was in great anxiety because he couldn't give up his worship of Lord Ram. So Lord Chaitanya said, blessed is a servant, blessed is the master who has such a servant, that cannot give up his worship. So, Ram is, Srila Prabhupada explains, Ram, in the 9th canto, he says in the purport, that Lord Ram descends in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they're the same person. But the reason why ISKCON emphasizes the worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is because in this age, Srila Prabhupada explains, if you go to a pharmacy, all the medicines are good, but the physician will prescribe a medicine that is most appropriate for your particular condition. So in Kali Yuga, in this age of distraction, even though all these so many other processes of yoga are valid, they're beneficial, but for this particular age, the Hare Krishna mantra is especially potent.
Okay.
And even when you were chanting today, I was appreciating, the different mantras. But like Varshana Swami, he's one really a great saint that lives in New Vrindavan. I hope if any of you get to come to New Vrindavan, you get a chance to meet Varshana Swami. But he said that actually his reflection was that when we're chanting Hare Krishna, it's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So it's like Radha and Krishna are coming together. And Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, they're separated. So this is the dynamic of the spiritual world of meeting and separation. And so as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we're following in the footsteps of Tulsi Maharani, who's, as we say in the prayers, O Tulsi, beloved of Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. By her mercy, we can enter into the Vrindavan mood. And the Vrindavan mood is that we're always trying to bring, Vrindavan, Tulsi's service is to make different arrangements for Radha and Krishna to come together to enjoy transcendental pastimes. So that's the most humble, purest. We're not trying to enjoy God. We're trying to see how we can serve so Krishna can enjoy. So this is the sweetest, mood of love of God. That's the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
But thank you for your question. And if it's possible, can I maybe, may I ask your good name? Dwarkanath. Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Oh, okay. I've heard about you. So, yeah, maybe I can, if I have some more thoughts, I can share them with you. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, wonderful. Okay. So we can discuss further. I'm usually not very good at answering questions right off the top of my head. Like, so it was, so I'll meditate on it more. Yeah, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
I want to ask you a question. When we were in Vrindavan, when the ISKCON Louisville group visited Vrindavan, was this like similar to the story that you told there?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Was the story similar to the one that you told in Vrindavan?
Was the story I told now the same one in Dharana? Yes,
Yeah.
I did part of it, yes.
I felt like something was familiar. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yes. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it was something that, because when it's familiar, then it starts to penetrate deeper, So every time we hear these pastimes, and it's always beneficial because the more they penetrate, the more our hearts are cleansed when we hear Krishna's pastimes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So,
What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What is your name? Alicia.
Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia, for that question. Yes, sorry.
so every time we come here, we always hear like when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it will purify your soul. You will be attracted. You will be more Krishna conscious and all. But how do we know? How do we realize that actually that is helping, or we are just chanting and someday it will help? Like how the realization comes to you?
Well, to me personally, I'm finding myself less ambitious, less distracted by material desires. As I'm chanting, I feel Krishna is revealing to me the futility of wanting to enjoy anything in this material world, because everything in this material world is temporary. And whatever you possess in the material world will be eventually taken away. You'll lose it. Doesn't matter what it is. We lose everything material because we can't hold on to it. Time, whether it's taken away by someone else, or taken away by the government, or taken away because it breaks down, everything eventually succumbs to the power of time. So, fame, recognition, as soon as you become famous, then someone can take that away. You can become infamous. Doesn't matter, what you have. Even Elon Musk, he cannot hold on to his $1 trillion, right? It'll slip from his hands at the time of death. And I read an interview one time. He didn't say he believes in God, but he does believe in a higher power. So he's to that extent he's on the right track. Wouldn't it become wonderful if he became Krishna conscious?
One. So sometimes we say it's God's plan. If something did not happen, whatever way you were wishing for, and it did not happen, and you just say maybe it's not in God's plan, it did not happen. So my question is like, are we using God as an excuse in there, or it is really, we believe actually it is not in God's plan, like we did not put efforts and we are using, maybe God did not want that to happen. So how do we tell ourselves, like sometimes we also know like it might not happen because God did not want it, but is it true, like how do we tell ourselves it's really not an excuse and it did not, like it was not in God's plan?
Right, this is a very intelligent question, and I will have to meditate it. I'll answer it right now to the best of my ability, but I'm afraid my answer will will be not as deep as what, because this is a very important question, and I'll send my reflections to Gula Madhav Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for
but-
thinking
But
it.
just the top of my head, what you're pointing to is the cheating mentality, without any tinge of desire for my own benefit. If we're still the fruit of, so much in the Bhagavad Gita talks about fruit of action. So what is fruit of action? It's also fruit of thought. Thinking, what can I get out of this for my personal benefit? So as long as we're conditioned like that, then we have to learn to recognize, to ask ourselves honestly that question: what is this? Is this my intention pure, or is my intention contaminated by desire for fruitive activity?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So I have a question. When something bad happens, usually we say it is because of our past karmas. So how to, accept these things when we really do not know what our last life was? So how can we, accept this thing that this was our last, like bad karmas of past?
So there's a beautiful verse in the 10th canto where Lord Brahma says, Tat tenukampam shushamikshamana bunjana ivatma kritavam vipakam ridvag vapabrir vidatan namaste jiveta yo muktipat sa dayabak. That, oh my Lord, one who sees everything as the result of his past misdeeds, as coming from you. I'm just paraphrasing it. But one who's able to sincerely offer you respects from the core of his heart, even when these bad things happen. Devotional service to you becomes his rightful claim. So, these, we don't have to necessarily know what happened in our past life to cause this sinful reaction. Just like if a mosquito bites you, right, and the mosquito's got malaria, are you going to try to, Radhanath Swami uses this example, are you going to try to track down that mosquito and kill it? Or are you going to try to go to the doctor and get the malaria disease?
We'll go to the doctor.
I'm sorry? Yeah. Does that help? Yeah. Hare Krishna. So, I'm sorry. So what is your name, Prabhu? Somya. And you're Shweta Mataji. Okay. Somya Shweta. So I'll meditate on this too if I can think of more, Somya.
We have one prayer, Vivachari Shesha, in ISKCON. So what should we give this prayer, when we should give this prayer, evening or morning?
Okay, what prayer is this? I'm sorry.
Vivachari Shesha.
Oh, Vibhavarti. That's a morning
Oh.
prayer.
Morning prayer?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I remember Janardana Swami, when he
Oh.
was in Vrindavan, he would always...
So everybody is doing Sansar Davanal prayer
yes.
in the morning. Both of them,
Yes.
we can do it
We
in
can
the
do both.
morning?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
It's a beautiful prayer.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yes.
He's saying both of them in the morning. Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna.
I have one question. Like, I'm going back to the story where the Brahman, he couldn't read, but he still had so much affection for how Lord Krishna became the charioteer of Arjun. Like, if you can't read and you can't do stuff, like if you can't see, you can't see Bhagavan. If you can't read Bhagavad Gita. What will you do to understand this? Like, what will you do to make up for your problems?
We're getting so many intelligent questions. Yes, so devotion is not based, love does not depend upon material education. It is a love for Krishna is dependent upon the relationship of the soul with the Supreme Soul. Now the question would be raised, well, how can you understand this love unless you can read? So this Brahmin, he learned through hearing. He heard about Krishna from his guru. So that was sufficient for him. So his learning to read was not an impediment. So the point of the story is that there's no material impediment to loving Krishna. You know, like we said in the song, you know, big or small, short or tall, whether they can run, whether they can crawl, doesn't matter if they're strong, doesn't matter if they're weak. Ram says, I accept anyone who sincerely seeks to serve me according to his capacity. So that's what Ram is looking for. That's what Krishna is in your heart. And he's looking to see, are you trying to the best of your capacity to serve him? So if you have the ability, if you have parents and they have the wealth to send you to school and get an education, you have the IQ to learn how to read, then by all means read. You're thinking, oh, I just have to have devotion, and I don't have to study, You're not acting according to the best of your capacity. But take someone who's an orphan, who has no parents, is living on the street. Does that mean the orphan can't love Krishna? So Krishna is for everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful question. I have a question. When is prasadam? No, I was kidding. Yeah.
So, no question? No other question? Are you? So, Prabhu, thanks for such a wonderful Ram Katha. It was really amazing. And I know kids were remembering all the times, after coming back from New Vrindavan, I think so, 10 times or more than 10 times, 20 times, they suggested, let's go back, let's go there again. And fortunately, Krishna arranged everything and you are here with us and we got a chance to hear that from you again. And such a wonderful teachings, realization of your life, such a wonderful things we have. So let's do thanks for Prabhuji by saying 3 times big Hari Bol, like in Hari Bol. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! The sound was like that you don't want to learn Ram Katha and guitar. So you should be loud if you want to learn. Otherwise like this only, right? Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Thanks.
Prabhuji, can you end with victory to Ram?
Victory to Ram!
No.
Victory to Ram!
Prabhuji, I introduced myself that, I was part of the class where you sang that victory to Ram. Can you sing at least once? Yeah, a guitar, Prabhuji. No, that's what we ask also.
Oh, I see. Victory to Ram!
Victory to Ram!
Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram.
Victory to Ram!
Victory to Ram!
Victory to Ram!
Victory to Ram!
Victory! Everyone! Victory to Ram. Hari Bol.
Hari Hari. Hari Bol. Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks a lot. So now, Prabhu, we'll have Gaur Aarti, and after that, a nursing prayer, and then we all can have Prasadam. Prabhu. So you would like to sing, Prabhu, Gaur Aarti? So you can do that, Aarti?